So I had done some work on this one, but I messed up somewhere. Like, I know, because I understand calculus, what the correct answer should be, but I wasn't getting the right answer, and I'm not sure why. But the question is f of x plus h. So f of x plus h is going to be an x plus an h written 3 times, because it's cubed, and then plus 21. And I'm going to find that first. I'm going to focus on these two pieces, and I would like to know where I screwed up, because I didn't see where I screwed up. But anyways, if I do the double distributive property on this, I'm going to have x squared plus an hx plus another one, which is plus 2hx, plus h squared. And then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to do x plus h again. So I'm going to x everything. And I'm going to get x cubed plus 2hx squared plus xh squared. Ah, there's where I messed up. Plus hx squared plus 2h squared x plus h cubed. So I messed up here. I can see it now. If I put these two terms together, which are like terms, I will have 3hx squared. And those are like terms. They don't look it, but they are. I'll have 3xh squared. And then I have my plus h cubed. Now, the next thing this difference quotient says is to take away the original function. It says take away f of x. So I'm going to, oh, I forgot my 21. See that 21? I almost forgot about her. But take away the original thing, which is x cubed plus 21. And it's all over the letter h. Anyways, x cubed minus x cubed is nothing. 21 minus 21 is nothing. And everything here has one h. So I cancel out the h. 3x squared plus 3xh plus h squared. Just choice C. There's number 8. Moving forward to number 9. I had y'all do some of these too back at the beginning of the semester. For this function, do f of x minus f of a over x minus a. So f of x is 9x squared minus x. We're going to take away f of a, which is going to be 9a squared minus a. And we're sitting pretty over x minus a. Kind of weird looking, isn't it? Let's clean up some things here. We'll have 9x squared minus 9a squared. And we're going to have minus x plus a. And it's all sitting over x minus a. Okay, I think I see it. That might not have been a proper grouping. Yes, it was. I can pull the 9 and I have x squared minus a squared. I can pull the negativity and I have x minus a. Again, it's all over x minus a. X squared minus a squared factors as x minus a times x plus a. Then I have the minus x minus a, all over x minus a. These two terms contain an x minus a. I pull it, and I'm left with 9 times x plus a minus the understood 1 over x minus a. And those cancel, and there's my answer. 9x plus 9a minus 1. Now, let's cheat. So, paid attention to that. Let's cheat. Let's take a 5 and store it to x. Let's take a 7 and store it to a. Where is that? Oh, there she is. Let's type in that expression. So math, num, n over d. It's f of x, which is 9x squared minus x, take away, be sure you use parentheses, f of a, which was 9a squared. Oops. Minus a. And it's sitting over what, x minus a? I got 107. All right. My answer had better return 107. And it does. Sweet. That's a pretty neat little skill that I doubt very few people realize they can do. The ability to plug in multiple things at once. 10 is y1. 10 is literally plug-in numbers. 11, which of the following best approximates a solution? I still think you should probably y1, y2 that. I don't think it would be too rough. Or you could factor. We'll do both. Letter factor is 24 and 5. So minus 4, minus 5. That seems right, doesn't it? So x to the fourth is 4, or x to the fourth is 5. So x is going to be 4 to the 1/4 power, or x is going to be 5 to the 1/4 power. I don't know which is easier to do. But if I take 4 to the 1/4, I get 1.414. If I take 5 to the 1/4, I get 1.499. And I'm sure that if you looked at this on a graph, you'd be able to do it. It's a legit y1, y2 problem. A lot of these pre-calc tests are because a lot of teachers don't really, and I know why they don't, but a lot of teachers don't teach kids how to use a graphing calculator. You should. I know we're trying to teach algebra here, but there's your two answers, kids. All right, which of the following is not a factor of t to the 6 minus 729? Here's the thing. If you don't remember a cubed minus b cubed is a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared, here's what you can remember. When dividing by a factor, the remainder is 0. Now, a calculator doesn't really show you what a remainder is, but it can show you some other things. So let's make up a value of t. Let's let t be 10. Take a 10, store it to x. So let's see what happens if we have a decimal, then we had a remainder. All right. So I know the first one's going to be a factor, but let's just type this in, see what happens. We have x to the 6th minus 729, I think that's what it is, and we're dividing by t minus 3. It was a nice clean division. There's literally no remainder. There was no remainder. T plus 3 should not be actually t plus 3 is a factor too. Nice clean division. All right. Let's look at the next one. We have our x to the 6th minus 729. She is going to be divided by all of t squared plus 3t plus 9. Clean division. Again. All right, let's check that minus 3t minus 9. Decimal. Choice D. Decimal. Kind of a neat little trick there. All right, determine the values of x that make the equation true. The idea here is that the determinant of a matrix that contains the elements A, B, C, and D is AD not in Algebra 2 standards last year. So I take x minus 5, I multiply it by x plus 7. I take away the product of 17 and 5, and it is 0. And these are going to be my answers. Alright? Let's see, what's that going to give me? X squared plus 2x minus 35 minus 50, 85 is 0. I don't think I've done anything wrong. And it's going to be x squared plus 2x minus 120. It's going to be x minus 10, x plus 12. So x is 10 or x is negative 12. Here's something you can do too, by the way. You can literally plug in answer choices. So let's check these, okay? Let's just check them. Second matrix, this is a 2 by 2. And I have, if I think I'm negative 12, I'm going to have negative 17. All right, I'm doing negative 12 minus 5, right? 5, 17, and then negative 12 plus 7. Don't want to confuse you. Quit out, second matrix math, DET, second matrix A, 0. You can plug in answers. You can literally plug in answers because your calculator has a DET button. That was second matrix math, determinant. What conic section is represented by this equation? That is going to be a hyperbola. A hyperbola is an equation written in the form x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared. And it's supposed to equal 1. Sorry, you didn't see that one. I know this is a hyperbola because I see the minus. And h and k are going to give me the center. The hyperbola is that. An ellipse is very similar. The ellipse is x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k squared over b squared equal to 1. And then, of course, you have the other big conic, the circle. The circle would be x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equal to r squared. They're very, very similar equations because they're all conics. Conics is something that's kind of in standards and not in standards. But this one is going to be a hyperbola. But anyways, let's make it look like this. So I'm going to do a lot of math real quick. I am going to take half of 10, get a negative 5. I'm going to square it, get 25, and add it to both sides. So x squared minus 10x plus 25. Then I have a minus sign. All right? If I pull that minus sign, I'm trying to make both these. This actually becomes y squared. I'm pulling it from both, minus 8y. So I'm going to take half of a negative 8, I'm going to get negative 4. I'm going to square negative 4, get 16, and I'm going to add it to both sides. Plus 16. The right-hand side was 400. I added 16, and I added 25 earlier. So 441. Okay, cool. How do these things factor? That factors as x minus 5 squared. This factors as y minus 4 squared. Your center's at 5, 4. Choice D. Truth is, if you knew enough about completing the square and doing circles, you knew enough to do that one. Which of the following does not represent a parabola with a vertex at opposite negative 4, 2? Like you'd be a fool if you didn't graph these, but your vertex is x equals negative b over 2a. That's where it is. So it's probably choice A. Choice A would be negative 16 over twice a 2, which is negative 4. Could be that one. Choice C. It won't be B. Won't be E. Could also be this one. That would be negative 24 over twice a 3, which is also negative 4. So it's really between these two. And I'm just doing the math real quick. This would be 20 over 10. Not going to happen. Negative 8 over 4. Not going to happen. It's one of these two. Once you have the vertex, you can plug it back in and get y. And again, this is kind of probably the longest way of doing this one. We'll just look at our answer choice and see if it makes sense. But if I do 2 times a negative 4 squared plus 16 times a negative 4, and I add 34, what do I have? I have 32 minus 64 plus 34. So I have 66 minus 64, which is 2. Cool. It's definitely choice A. Like I said, you'd be an absolute fool if you didn't just literally go to y equals and type in the equation and see what the correct answer is. You would also want to make sure that you know how to push buttons in a calculator, unlike me, apparently. So we're supposed to have, and that's it, isn't that it? Determine the coordinates of the focus and equation of the directrix for the parabola given by the equation x equals 4y squared plus 8y plus 10. Boy, it has been a minute since I've done these. It has been a long minute. This was removed from Algebra 2 standards in 2016. Hadn't been taught since 2016, and it's still floating around on some of this stuff. And you have never heard of those words, you don't know what they are, none of it. This is actually a sideways parabola. Looks like that. It's the inverse of a regular parabola. I'm going to pull this 4. Boy, they didn't pick a good one, did they? No, they picked a hard one. If I pull that 4, I have y squared plus 2y plus 2.5. That's not something I care to factor. Are there factors of 5/2 that add to 2? I have no idea if there's factors of 5/2 that add to 2. I have no idea. Give me just a second here. Alright, so I paused because I had to go look at the old formulas because I hadn't done it in almost 8 years. There's a formula for everything. And that's one I didn't remember. Anyways, here's our formula. We're going to say we want this to look like 4p times x minus h is y minus k squared. And your focus is going to be at h plus p, comma, k. Good stuff, huh? Then we'll worry about the directrix. Directrix is something else. Anyways, where was I? What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this 10 over. X minus 10 is 4y squared plus 8y. I'm going to divide the 4 out. X minus 10 over 4 is y squared plus 2y. I'm going to complete the square. Half of 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. And I'm going to add it to both sides. Hope this doesn't blow your mind here, but I'm just going to put plus 4 there. X minus 6 times a quarter is y plus 1 quantity squared. Alright, so my center is at 6, negative 1. You can kind of see where these negative 1s are now. I'm either choice A, B, or E. Following the idea of my focus being H plus P, notice how 4P and a quarter line up? 4P must be a quarter. And I got something funny. I got that P is a 16th. Oh, that stinks. That stinks, because I do not see 6 and a 16th anywhere. I do not see it, which means I have made a mistake and I'm wasting some of your time. Oh, ha! If you look at the key, it says omit. They know they don't have it. It's not keyed correctly, and they caught it. Anyways, the correct focus is going to be at 6th and a 16th. Now we got to worry about this directrix. So, give me a second. Let me write down the formula for the directrix. Not waste. I wanted to make sure I was right on this. The directrix is the point equidistant from, sorry, not the point, is a line equidistant from the center as the focus is. Now, I never did this with y'all, but this is a parabola that is centered at 6, 1, 6, negative 1, and it actually opens like this. Its energy is focused right there, and there's an equation called a directrix back here, which would be the same exact distance away. So that's going to be 5 and 15/16, which is why we have a problem. They keyed this thing wrong, and these should all be X's, not Y's. Anyways, I don't know if directrix and stuff is on there or not, but now at least you've heard of what it is. I don't know how to keep that in the calculator. Identify an equation of an asymptote for the hyperbola given by this equation. The equation of the asymptote of a hyperbola. Well, that was the bell, which means I'm going to lunch, so this is a lesson for another day.